days before a potentially heroic evening in Porto, we're up against the villains. Literally, Aston Villa stand between us and a guaranteed place in next season's Champions League. It's going to be a busy one this afternoon. Premier League football everywhere. We will keep you across it, of course. Hello and welcome to the final Matchday Live of this Premier League season. I'm joined by Jason Cundy, Savage Dan and Abby McCarthy. Jace, it feels like it's been a long, tough season for many reasons. How are you feeling about today?
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, everyone. How am I feeling about today? I am only too aware this is not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. This is a tough game. This is a huge game. It's all about 3 points. I expect Liverpool to win. I expect Leicester to win. Ours is the tougher of the three. I fancy us, but of all the 3 games, if you had £1 of Cundy money to say, where would I put it on the 2 victories coming and perhaps one place dropping points? Sadly, this is the one that's more likely. And on the way up here today, I listened to Talk Sport. A lot of people predicted if there was one team that was going to perhaps miss out, it would be us based on that. Having said all of that, we are more than capable of coming in and putting in not just a result, but a performance as well. I found over the years with Chelsea that when we need a result, like a big result, in situations like this, more often than not, we get them. We find a way, we dig in. This means more to us than it does Villa. That shouldn't take it away from the fact that Villa aren't going to turn up here today and want to win. Of course not. But I'm just trying to paint a picture of how I'm feeling. I'm optimistically positive, but at the same time, cautiously nervous. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel.
I mean, to be honest with you, Joe, I've never seen that many words used that counterbalance each other.
I'm not even sure that makes sense, but...
Mate, I completely agree. I completely understand it. I think you're bang on. I think that's kind of the mood that a lot of us are feeling at the moment. I mean, Dan, there's so many narratives. Like Jason's already mentioned, you've got Crystal Palace that are playing Liverpool. It's Roy Hodgson's final game, so you've got a little bit of storyline in that. You've got, obviously, Tottenham against Leicester City. Tottenham aren't going to want to do us any favours, but it's Ryan Mason's probably last game in the dugout there, and maybe Harry Kane's last game for Tottenham as well. So you've got a little bit on that. We're playing Aston Villa, who have really got nothing to play for, but also a team coached by John Terry will never go into a game with that mentality of nothing to play for. So I think Jason's absolutely spot on. In terms of the toughest ones on paper and in sort of actuality, Aston Villa are a real threat today, and it's going to be a hard-fought result, however it comes.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm probably a little bit more optimistic than Jace, because I look at all 3 as potential banana skins. I think that the Liverpool game is less of one, but I still feel like Tottenham have just enough about them to turn up and ruin it for Leicester. Regardless of what happens there, what happens here is really what matters. And I do think we're good enough to beat Villa. I think they've tailed off recently. I don't think they're in the best of form. I feel like I'm obviously nervous and I'm very aware of the threat Villa carry, but I feel like if it wasn't for this circumstance of it being such a big game, I would have us running away as comfortable winners. It's just the nerves kicking in because of the occasion. As long as we play the game and not the occasion, I think we get 3 points here.
Oh, I hope you're right, mate. I think you are right, in fairness. And I'll tell you what, it's time for you to have your say, because it's your final chance to get involved with Play Predictor this Premier League season. You could win a weekly prize of a £100 Megastore voucher and a signed shirt as well. Congrats to Connor Murphy from Ireland, who scored 69 points to bag the prize on Tuesday. Is it your turn to win? Let us know, get involved and submit your predictions before 3 p.m. So you've got 5 or 6 minutes to get those in on the Fifth Stand app. Get that done quickly. Here is our predictions for today. Final scores only for us, of course. 1-0 for Jason and then 2-0 all round. Abby, you're always the picture of positivity. You've gone 2-0. I think already Jason and Dan have outlined why it could be difficult, but there's reasons to be optimistic and positive. Do you see 2-0 being as comfortable as the scoreline that you've predicted says, or is it going to be a little bit more of a nervy affair?
Joe, I would love it to be comfortable, but I don't think it's going to be. This is a huge game for us. I think it's exactly what Dan said. If this was just us versus Villa earlier on in the season, you'd be like, we've got this, it's no pressure. But because it's crunch time, it's about top 4, it's about Champions League football, some nerves are going to kick in. Obviously, Villa playing in front of fans for the first time, that's going to give them a huge lift, as it did for us earlier in the week against Leicester. So, yeah, this is a big game. And I think I think it is going to be tight, but I think that win for us on Tuesday just felt absolutely huge. We're getting a bit of momentum back. Hopefully, if we carry on that little run of form and the kind of confidence it's given us, I think we'll come away with the 3 points today. But yeah, I'm under no illusion that it's going to be easy, but 3 points is all that matters.
You mentioned Tuesday night against Leicester. That is our hot topic one for tonight. Kind of Leicester reaction / top four in our own hands because of that result. And obviously, Abby and Jason were both at the game. Jace, it's one of those games where it felt like a bigger occasion than anything else I've kind of felt in a long time. Even, the FA importance of the game. Tuchel said it wasn't a revenge result. It was much more important than that. And we are now back in, I suppose, the box seat for the Champions League place. But all of that hard work only kind of matters if we get it done today, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
When you look at both sides and the team selection in both of those games over the two games, I think it probably gives you some indication as to what the bigger game was for both of them. Not to take away anything from their victory in the FA Cup, they thoroughly deserved it. Our team selection was different. Our team selection on the Tuesday, I think, showed our strength in depth and showed what we really are and who we really are. And we thoroughly deserved it on the night. It could have been different, of course. There was a huge chance that Jose Perez, on another day, if he gets a better connection, keeps his head over the ball, it might have gone 2-2. But I think we thoroughly deserved it. But you're absolutely right. Abby and I were there. It's a brilliant atmosphere. Abby and I hugged God knows how many times, and only to celebrate 2 goals, and of course the 2 that were disallowed. And it was literally going into those last 5-10 minutes. It was not pleasant, and the atmosphere in the ground, because of the fans, it went from jubilation to one of knowing what a 1 goal could do to our season. And we felt it, the players would have felt it, but the jubilation afterwards was fabulous. But going back to your point, you're absolutely right. There's no point in winning that game if we don't take 3 points here and Leicester overtake us again. It'll be futile if that's how things turn out. So on the back of that victory, we have to follow it up with another 3 points today.
And it felt very Chelsea-esque as well. Jason's already mentioned about, big results and Chelsea tend to dig in and get something. In fairness, coming off the back of 2 defeats against Arsenal and Leicester, both, disappointments in the form that we were running up to those. But it felt like a really character-building result in the way we had to dig in. And like Jason said, there was a little bit of nervousness towards the end, but even the kind of the hustle and the commitment that you saw from players defending and sort of we've spoken about players taking it sort of one-on-one and really digging in. It felt like a much bigger 3 points than I suppose what it looked like on paper, didn't it?
I think it looked big on paper as well. I really do. I think it was a huge 3 points for us. And do you know what? Considering where we were around Christmas times and around January, we almost didn't have much right to be fighting for top 4, let alone, really battling it out and almost in the driving seat at the moment. So it was a huge win for us. And it's almost as if we have to do it this way. We've been doing it like this for a long time now, where it always goes to the wire and somehow we always get ourselves out of trouble, whether it means we come 6th and win a Champions League or whether we're waiting till the last day of the season to make top 4 for whatever reason and make it engaging for Chelsea fans. It's never dull.
You're absolutely. I wish it was dull. To be fair, at times I do. I really wish we'd get here and cruise it. But Abby, Jason said about you and we saw you both on Matchday Live on Tuesday night, and we saw your piece to camera as well coming into the ground, and you get those feels about being back. It did feel as well, and I know I'm looking at it from a romantic side, but it did feel like it gave just the performance another 5 or 10% having the backing of the supporters. And we saw Timo Werner dancing to people chanting his name on the subs bench, and you really felt that there was that the players, they obviously know that the fans are supporting them, but have that vocality behind them and have just people in the ground supporting them. It did feel like it gave the place such a massive boost.
Yeah, it felt like from kickoff there was just an urgency that I don't actually think we've seen this season. Straight away they were just digging in. It was a huge game, and it felt like the fans were kind of giving them that, like you say, extra 10%. And the chants and the songs for Werner were so loud, and that was so nice to see. Obviously, he's not really got to fully experience that, is it? And you could see, it was driving him to be at his best. People were screaming for Pulisic as well. It was, and obviously Kanté and kind of all the usual suspects. But yeah, it was just absolutely amazing atmosphere. Myself and Jason were very loud for the goals that counted and the goals that didn't count. Yeah, it was just absolutely incredible just to see fans back in the ground. I actually felt really emotional as I walked in. Yeah, just absolutely incredible. And I think that's why it was one of our best performances this season, for sure.
I completely agree. It does. It feels like I suppose a relief as well of perhaps things returning to normality and that kind of light at the end of what has been a very long tunnel for everyone. And obviously football does feel trivial at times in comparison to the wider context of whatever's going on. But having fans back in stadium and just that joyous outburst that we can have is phenomenal. Players obviously arriving at Villa Park today. The first time we're going to sense a proper away hostile atmosphere, which is in a strange way. I'm kind of looking forward to it. So I'm sure Jason isn't looking forward to it. He's probably going to keep his head down and his hood up, maybe as he's in and out of the ground, depending on how results go. But we've got the brilliant Matt Davies-Adams, who's also there on commentary duties for us this afternoon. Matt, how are you, mate? Are you well?
Really good, Joe. Thanks. Yeah, not very last day of the season weather, but we won't be bothered about that if we get the right result in a couple of hours from now.
You're absolutely right, mate. You're absolutely right. Well, put us out of his misery, please, mate, if you've got the team news for us.
Certainly have just one change from Leicester, and I think it's probably one we could have predicted. Mateo Kovacic in for N'Golo Kanté. We know that N'Golo felt his hamstring early on in that game. He's not in the squad today. I can tell you though that Andreas Christensen and Kai Havertz are both fit enough for the bench. Olivier Giroud's also on there. I'd be surprised if he didn't get on at some point. 8 goals in his last 8 games against Villa.
See, that's like you said, N'Golo Kanté, I suppose, from a perspective of with a cup final next week, it may be precautionary. That's what we hope anyway. But, such a massive boost to have Mateo Kovacic starting the game again.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Kovacic, you feel probably not didn't want to, but wasn't planned to play for an hour against Leicester. But they were vital minutes into his legs. And, if he gets another hour today, I think that puts him in a great position to start in Porto next week.
Jace, it shows just how big the task is and how aware Thomas Tuchel is that this isn't a gimme because of the squad that he's selected. I suppose you'd go along the lines of, especially for a few months ago, that is full strength. And in terms of now, N'Golo Kanté is probably the only one you look at there potentially coming in and out. That could very well much be the starting 11 for next weekend in Porto. So
it's the team that I would have chosen. It's the team that I would have picked, knowing what he's got. And I think we've been quite fortunate, really, the fact that N'Golo picked up that slight hammy twinge and Kovacic returned, because if Kovacic had been another week away, he would have had a bit of an issue in the middle of the park. What does he do? Because he's got all the right players in all the right places. He may have been forced to make a decision he didn't really want to make. You can't really play Billy and Jorginho for me in there. You need a little bit of balance. And he may have been forced to maybe put Reece in the middle of the park, maybe put Mason. I don't know, but he's been slightly fortunate. The fact that Covers returned to fitness has coincided with N'Golo having to limp out. So that side of things is a good thing. The flip side of that is, of course, yes, we great the Covers back, and of course, he had minutes under his belt. But I just wonder, looking forward to the Champions League, 3 huge games in succession. I just wonder whether by the time we get to the Champions League, how would Covers' fitness have gone? Because it's one thing having minutes under your belt, but to play in a game which could go to extra time or potentially go further than that. Look, let's not look that far ahead right now. Let's just get today out of the way. Look, the team selection is exactly, and I'm guessing I'm speaking on behalf of most of you, if not all of you, that's the team I would have chosen today.
Matt, in terms of Aston Villa, I suppose the big news would be is Jack Grealish back in the starting lineup, and if he is, it's a big test for that right hand side for Chelsea if he does, because he's been so good this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jason and I were wondering whether Reece was going to play in the back 3 again, maybe because of that, or whether Azpilicueta would go back there. But yeah, Villa unchanged from the team that started against Spurs in midweek and did so well. So yeah, Jack Grealish in and captain. And always nice to have Marvellous Nakamba in there as well, I think, just so that you get the chance to say the name Marvellous Nakamba, which is marvellous.
I love the honesty, Matt, as well, because not enough people will be talking about it. But you're absolutely right. Terrific player, excellent name that goes alongside it. Dan, another boost for Chelsea is the fact that Andreas Christensen back in the squad for today. There was, I'm sure I speak for all of us, but when a player goes down with an injury this close to the end of the season, you think that's probably his season over. The fact that he is back in the squad ahead of a Champions League final is just another option if we do need him or if Thomas Tuchel wants him in the side.
Yeah, good to see him back. I'm always worried at this part of the season because you just know this is when the hammies go. This is when everything starts to to, you start to get big injuries that have players out for the start of next season. But it looks like we're going to have a fully fit squad to pick from, hopefully, for the Champions League final. So very good to have Christensen back.
Abby, I know that Timo Werner spoke about it in the week. I know we've already mentioned it as well, and you were very much a part of the fans that were singing his name. But he spoke, and you could even see on the bench how much it meant to him and how happy he was to have that vocalised backing. And it's important, isn't it, for a new player to settle, to know that he has that. And it's been a tough season for every new player that's arrived in the Premier League because they haven't had the immediate backing, the immediate sort of thing like that. But how much of a boost do you think that will give him going into the games beyond that? Now he knows and he's heard that and he's felt that impact.
Hopefully a huge boost for him. I've seen some of the interviews he's done since the game, and he was saying that, over in Germany, you don't really get those chances for individual players. And he was actually quite bowled over by it. And hopefully he knows, all the fans are fully backing him. It's not been the easiest start for him, no, but you've got to remember he's joined a new football team in a new country during a pandemic. It's pretty tough. But the fact that he knows all the fans are behind him, hopefully those goals are going to start flooding in now. I'd love to see it.
Oh, we absolutely would. Obviously, Matt, that everyone knows that that John Terry is in the dugout as the assistant manager at Aston Villa. There's another familiar face to Chelsea fans that's in the starting 11 for Aston Villa, in Bertrand Traore as well.
Yeah, he had that really good spell, didn't he? 15-16 under Gus Hiddink, where he got all his Chelsea goals. Went to Lyon, did okay, but I think he's a Premier League quality player and one that we've got to watch out for. There's another Chelsea link as well, by the way, in the Villa team. Tyrone Mings' dad, Adi, is a scout for Chelsea. So Chelsea links wherever you look today.
Very interesting. Well, I mean, I'm certainly not expecting any favours, but it's always nice to see a friendly face on the other side, isn't it? Plenty more build-up coming your way ahead of Chelsea's trip to Villa Park. But before we do that, let's hear from Thomas Tuchel, who spoke in his final Premier League press conference of the season yesterday.
On Tuesday, we saw a lot of desire, passion and commitment from your players. Is that exactly what you need again on Sunday?
It's exactly what we need all the time, but it's not all the time the same possibility. You need to adapt to what the game demands and to the situations. It was the moment, and it was a crucial moment for us in the season to maintain the possibility to reach our targets, and the team had a very good response to it, and we had several games under pressure and in crucial moments, and we always had a very, very good response. So we trust ourselves to be able to perform again. It's a completely different setup. It's away game, away fans, strong team, strong Aston Villa side, play without any pressure. So very big challenge, but we're up for it.
Sir Alex Ferguson famously called this time of the season squeaky bum time. Time when the fans get very worried and they get very edgy.
Yeah.
What's it like for you as a manager and the players?
Sure, it's exciting. It's nice. It's nice if you play for stuff in the end. Keeps you on the edge, brings out the best in you, and you can absolutely feel the excitement. We felt it. We felt it in Wembley. We felt it Tuesday. We felt it also from our spectators. It was not like a normal match in Premier League. We had clear target. We needed to win to like I said, to maintain our goals, and that sets a certain tone and brings a certain intensity and energy that is very, very special. It's not like this for all 60, 65 matches a year. But when these matches arrive, it gets very special, and it brings you a certain amount of excitement that you cannot find nowhere else.
And on Sunday, will you want to know what is happening at Liverpool and Leicester, or do you want to be in a bubble with your players and just block everything out?
For a long time, for a long period of the game, I want to sure be in a bubble. If it's in the end, if we have results that have an influence to the amount of risk that we should take, need to take, whatever, because we are not leading or not comfortable leading or whatever. Then we need to know. It's also we need to be professional. I prefer not to know, but if it's necessary, we need to know to adapt our risk management and during the game. I think this is quite normal. First of all, we approach the game like the game against Leicester. It's in our hands, and we can decide things with a win. So we prepare this game to be ready to win it. But as you know, in a football match, there can be a lot of twists and turns. So we need to be ready for everything on our pitch and on the other pitches.
James at Talksport.
Thomas, you're now in touching distance of a top 4 finish.
Yeah.
Just how much of an achievement would it be to get that, considering where this club was in January?
Well, we would be absolutely happy to reach it. This was the main target and the main focus for all of us. And having a busy schedule and making it in the FA Cup until the final and even in Champions League made it even harder, because we had so many games, first of all, to cope with, and a tight schedule. But we had also, like I mentioned earlier, a bit of a complicated situation to reach a final, then go back to race to top 4, then reach a semi-final. And in Champions League, it's like all these different competitions, and everywhere you have a different level of the competition. You are already almost done in FA Cup. Now we are done. You're not done in Champions League. You are not done in race top 4 race. So it demanded a lot of different levels of concentration and focus from all of us. So this is what we wished for and what we worked hard for, and now it's still in our hands, and we are full of respect for our opponents, and we know how hard it is to play at Aston Villa and to beat this strong Aston Villa side, but we're determined to do it.
There were some really encouraging signs from Timo Werner on Tuesday night, and the Chelsea fans really got behind him.
Yeah.
How close do you think we are to seeing the best version of him, and how excited are you at that prospect?
I hope we are there on Sunday. Actually, this is what we hope. But he's still young; he can still improve, and this is what we demand from him. Not only week by week, but also when there will be a bit of time to reflect for him, a bit of time to rest, a bit of time of holiday time for mental rest. I am sure that he can take the next steps. Next year he is not new anymore. He knows where he's coming back to. He knows the environment. He knows his teammates. He knows first game whoever we will play. He knows what he's up to against and how to adapt. And this will help him in future. And we try to push the process right now because we need him. And it's always like I said. And don't forget, many goal scorers in Europe shoot penalties for their teams. It's very common normally that they reach these high numbers that they have with penalties. If you add the penalties that we had to his numbers, maybe everybody would be absolutely delighted with a first year. He's not scoring for us from penalties. He does not take them, so we should considerate all of that. But in the moment, like I always said, I'm happy when spectators are back. They will see the effort instantly, and they will. It's very hard to be. It's much more easier to be critic and to judge on a personal matter if you're not in the stadium, if you're at home on TV. But once you're there, once you're close to the guys, once you see the effort they put into matches, it's a bit more relative.
The home fans had such a big impact for your players on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So what sort of effect do you think the Aston Villa fans will have on your players on Sunday?
On our players, there will not be fans for us in the stadium. Huh? And they will have the same effect for their side. It's an advantage. It makes things absolutely more difficult, no doubt about it. But it's so much nicer and such a different game to play with spectators that we know that it increases the challenge and increases the adversity. But like I said, we are here to step up. We have it in our hands, and we want to do it till the very end.
John Southall, 5 Live.
Hi Thomas, on the fans front, do you think Liverpool and Leicester have an advantage as well, because they're obviously both at home and their fans will be back for the first time?
In terms of fans, they clearly have. In terms of point, I think they would like to change with us. So it's like it is. We knew it before. It was a strange situation to have no fans. So everybody was very happy, us included, to have the fans back for the last 2 matches. And then it's equal. You have 1 home match, you have 1 away match, and it makes things more difficult. But that's it's still the obstacle to overcome.
Do you think it will take some of the pressure off the Champions League final if you manage to finish in the top 4?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Of course, we don't need to talk around it. For sure, it takes some pressure off. But I don't think we play I don't think, like, when we arrive next week in Champions League final, that in our heads, it's like when we prepare the final in the last 2 days, that we will not play this final to make it to Champions League next season. This final you will play 100% no matter what, to win the cup. This is it. And the side effect, of course, is a crucial one. But we don't absolutely put it around. I want to turn it around. We don't want to play this final to arrive in the top 4. We put so much hard work, quality, and a very consistent amount of results into the last months, that we want to finish the job at Sunday. And like I said, we know it's going to be tough, but we don't know what expects us in detail. Anything can happen in the 90 minutes of football. And this is what everybody loves about this game, that 3 teams have a chance to catch 2 places, and so the race is on.
Last one, John.
The BBC website are doing a piece on the impact you've had at the club since you arrived. What one quality would you say you think you've brought to the group has led to this point?
No, I will not talk about me, for sure not. I do what I can, and in the best way possible, and I try to give all my knowledge and energy into this club now, and I really love where I am in the moment, and that's all I can say.
Nick Purewell.
Hi Thomas, just on Timo, obviously I saw him say that he really was very thankful for the fans' support, chanting his name and just sort of throwing their weight behind him. And he said that's sort of something he's not really had before. Can that also be something that helps his confidence going forward? It's one less thing almost to worry about, isn't it? And, we know the impact of fans. So I'm just wondering if you think that can also be something. I even
talked about it with the board in one of the very first talks with me, that I have the feeling that it's still a young team, and a team that needs the team from outside, and looking at the characteristics of the players from outside, not only Timo but all the other young guys we have, and there are so many of them, that the board should not forget the influence, like missing the supporters and not having the supporters who help them maybe sometimes over difficult moments, and in between matches, can have a huge impact, and even more impact than to a very experienced squad. But it goes in all directions. It can also increase the amount of pressure that you suddenly feel when you hear the crowd moaning, when you hear the crowd not liking your actions. So it works in both directions. But in general, I agree with you. My approach is that we should do everything to get our fans off the seats, and to let them feel the energy and the intensity that we give into matches, or let them feel our passion about the game, and then they will feel their passion instantly, and they will feel happy to support us, even if not everything is perfect. like I said, I strongly believe that fans don't go for the perfect game and don't go for the perfect result only to the stadium. They go for the energy and for the special moments and to really support when they can feel it. That the team is really about football, about intensity and about love of the game. And this is it. This is what we want to do, and this is what the young guys can for sure do very, very good. And from there, we hope for support and for an improvement of their self-confidence.
Last question in the broadcast, Nia Wintons.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
You've had a number. You've got a number of homegrown players that have come up through the academy and that have also had a terrific season here at Chelsea, especially since your arrival. How impressed have you been with Nathan, Tammy, Reece-Callum, and how impressed have you been in how the club are building for the future?
Yeah, I love academy boys. I don't treat them differently, but I'm very, very happy when we have a lot of them on the training pitch. Also, right now we have Tino Angerin, Tino Livramento, and other guys who regularly show up in training and try to adapt as quickly as possible to the level and to the work ethic and to be professional like the more experienced players. This is what I absolutely love about football in general and about my work. The academy has outstanding quality, is managed since so many years on the highest level. It's a pleasure to talk with the guys from the academy. It's a pleasure to hear their opinion. It's a pleasure to be in exchange. And when you see the guys performing on our level, this is it's amazing to see, because I truly believe that any club who has something special, creates a special bond with the environment and with the supporters and the spectators around Chelsea. If you have constantly young guys coming in, making it's different than only rely on bringing in from outside the best players. It is a certain glue that you cannot buy, and a certain bond that these guys care about the club more, and then not even more, like in a different way than guys from outside. And it's very, very nice also for me to see all these pictures when they were young and on tournaments. This is their dream come true. But it's super hard to make your way through academy into top level football in a club like Chelsea, because the level is so high, and that's why the praise goes out to the academy and everybody who works there and leads the academy is fantastic, and is so nice to have.
Bank, lovely back heel from him. Lovely play, and there's Wise! And Dennis Wise has opened the scoring for Chelsea.
Here's Gronkiar, got away from Reece. It's a wonderful goal!
Showboat stuff again from Joe Cole. Here's Belletti. Look at the options he's got. Cole just can't get there around Hendry Thomas. Well, he has. The back in. Oh, surely not. Yo! Oh my goodness, it's Ashley Cole again, and it's 8. Ashley Cole.
Great challenge from Aki. And he's found Torres. Here's Oscar. Oh, it's a great ball in towards Victor Moses. Down for Torres. What a brilliantly worked goal that is from Chelsea. It is Mount! Oh, yes! What a brilliant free kick from Mason Mount. Right at half-time, Chelsea get the goal. It takes them one step closer to the Champions League next season.
Welcome back to the final day of the Premier League season on Matchday Live. Fans back to bring an atmosphere inside Villa Park up against a team coached by a former Chelsea legend with work to do for top four qualification, but definitely in our own hands. This will be no final day flatness, I can absolutely assure you. Let's get straight into our hot topic 2, which is final day deja vu. And it is a little bit, isn't it? I mean, it does feel like we're in a fairly similar position last season, Jason, needing a result on the final day. And here we are again.
Yes, it was made a little slightly easier, the fact that Manchester United played Leicester on the very same day. And, you know, we kind of knew what was going on there. But you're absolutely right. We had to beat Wolves. We did in the end, convincingly. I was there that day and it was comfortable. Today's going to be tougher. We're away from home. Both Liverpool and Leicester have business of their own they can take care of. No one's going to take points off one another. We are in that situation right now where it's of all the games, this is the harder one, I feel, to predict, because even though Villa are on a bit of a strange run, they haven't really strung that many decent results together. And they beat Spurs, which is a good result, bearing in mind they were 1-0 down. Having said that, the performances up until that point have been very flat. Grealish is back. You know, he's their Hazard, if you like. He's not going to be as very shiny, sparkly as best because he's had an injury, but he can still add really influence. And they are a much better team with him in it. But look, it's in our own hands, Joe, and we can't ask any more than that. If you'd asked me, and you know, when Tuchel took over.
Mate, I absolutely agree with you. We are struggling with your internet a little bit, but you know that it's not your fault at all. We're all good, mate. I appreciate that. Abby, Jay's absolutely right. You know, it is in our own hands, and that is a good position to be in. I suppose you look at the similarities between last season in the same way. Mason Mount scored the opener, which is a very familiar sight for Chelsea fans, because when you need someone to pull up, Mason Mount's been doing that this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact that he's won our Player of the Year, I think that was a very one-sided contest, so well deserved. You know, man of the match performance from him pretty much every game. We often talk about him on this show. He's, you know, absolutely incredible. But yeah, it does feel so similar to last season, doesn't it? I don't know why we don't do it the easy way. It always gets down to crunch time, this business end of the season, but at least it means it'll be an exciting game for football fans everywhere. But yeah, I do think we've got this one today.
And I suppose the additional positive is the players that perhaps would put on the more inexperienced end of the scale, like Mason Mount and players like that are still in the infancy of their career. They've experienced that. And then at the other end of the scale, you've got dependable, reliable, experienced players that have been there, done everything, won the medals, like Thiago Silva. And you kind of find the balance between, you go, when you need a result, you need a performance, you've got a bit of pressure on you. Chelsea have got the perfect balanced squad for that.
Yeah, you've got, you know, Thiago Silva, who's seen it all. He's seen it all so many times, so he knows how to navigate his way through games like this. And then you've got players like Mount and like Reece, who are playing way beyond their years anyway. You don't really have to look at their physical age. You look at almost their mental age. You know, that they are clutch, they are experienced, they've also got the youth that is also a bit fearless. You know, that youth is naive at times, but it's definitely fearless and it's exciting and it wants to win. So it's a perfect balance, and everyone else is in in their mid to late 20s, which is perfect footballing age. So regardless of what team we put out, we've got a team that is always ready to compete and is always wide awake and very much there at the game.
Jace, how do you approach a must-win game? I suppose you can't look at it any other way, can you?
No, I think Tuchel's been quite consistent in the way that he's gone about most of his work. Keep tight at the back and go when the opportunity presents itself to go and see if we can score a goal. He's been that kind of pragmatic, very cautious coach since he's been here. And I think that the fact that he's got results that way, why would you change it? You know, over the course of 90 minutes, if we keep a clean sheet, there's a very good chance that we'll be able to create enough to score a goal. And that's how things have been. Not always. The games that spring to mind, Brighton, Arsenal, Wolves, but there have been one or two others where perhaps we could have done a little more going for. But largely, it's got us into a position now where we got to an FA Cup final. Unfortunately, we couldn't win that game. We got ourselves to a Champions League final, we'll find out. And we got ourselves to a position where it's in our own hands in the last game of the season in the Premier League. So I don't expect him to change anything. I expect to see the same Chelsea. Have plenty of the ball, control the tempo of the game just on the pitch, but maybe the bench as well if things do need to change. But he's gone with his strongest 11, which tells you all you need to know about how he views this game.
Abby, in terms of next week, we know that you can't think about next week because it's such a massive game, and every Chelsea fan, I'm sure, will be in the same position where you're going, just try not to think about it. Just try not to think about next week yet. Focus on today. I suppose that's the important and the difficulty and the reason that professional players are in that elite bracket, because they have to put that to one side and you have to focus on today's game. But it does get to a point, doesn't it, where you're going to be in that position. You are mentally, already preparing for one of the biggest games of any of the players' careers and the biggest game in club football. That's the danger, I suppose, today, though, isn't it? Is you can't let that seep into your performance, because if you give anything less than top notch, then Aston Villa are a team that can hurt you.
Yeah, the players need to do what I'm not doing, which is thinking about the game every single second of every day until it happens. The players are going to have the mentality. They need to get top four. So they are going to focus on today's game. But like you say, because it's such a huge game, it's the biggest game in a lot of these players' careers, it is going to be in the back of their mind, but they still need to put all of their focus and all of their energy in today into getting the win. As soon as the game's done, top four is secured, then they can turn their focus to the Champions League final.
Absolutely right. I mean, someone that has got that mentality, we know nothing less than 110%. Defensive stability has kind of been at the foundation of Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea success so far. Someone that has been pivotal and the very heart of that transformation, Jason has been taking a little bit of a look at.
Tony Rudiger is fast becoming one of the most consistent performers under Thomas Tuchel in this back three. We spoke a couple of weeks ago about how he's enjoying the role, but he really is taking command at the back, becoming a real leader. So the parts of the game he enjoys, the physicality, he's brave, incredibly quick, and reading runs across the front of the area now, becoming a bit of a trademark for him. We know that defensively, how solid he is, but there's that part of his game where he's coming out of the back almost on every single game. So we see it earlier in the season. If space opens up, he's prepared to walk into it. He's got a lovely range of passing. Fabulous pass out there to Callum. But the runs he's making into the opposition box are becoming a real threat. Clearly, Tuchel has told him that he can do this and is allowed to do this, getting a 60, 70 yards higher up the pitch. And he's done this again against Leicester. The fans' favourite now is slowly becoming Tony Rudiger. He's becoming a bit of a cult hero, making these trademark runs, almost running into a little bit of a dead end, but that determination that we've seen now develop in his game was all there to see. And it was quite fitting that he scored the opening goal against Leicester. As I said there, fast becoming a cult hero and really enjoying himself under Thomas Tuchel.
Danny's become a bit of a cult figure at Stamford Bridge over the last few months, especially. I mean, seems quite fitting that he was the first goal scorer since return of fans to the stadium on Tuesday night as well. But he has been just so important to Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea, isn't he?
And I think he's important to the whole team as a whole. You know, every time on the unscripted show we're speaking to players, his name always comes up. You know, Rudiger's the father figure. Rudiger's the disciplinarian. Rudiger's the joker. He is a big a big character within the squad as well, and he almost leads by example, and he's always willing to have a physical battle. He's always willing to fight for the team. He's always willing to even drive with the ball, and we see him going down the wing as if he's a winger as well. So he wants to win. He really does, and you can tell that he lives it. He really does want to perform, and that spell on the sidelines was tough for him. But now he's back, and in the back three, I mean, he knows that position very, very well. He plays it for his national team as well. So it's been a pleasure to watch. The mistakes that used to be there don't seem to be there at the moment. And everything just seems to be very secure. And you definitely want Rudiger in that team right now, in your strongest 11, definitely.
Jace, how important is it to have reliable figures like Rudiger, Thiago Silva and Azpilicueta to kind of implement the plan that Thomas Tuchel's got in place?
It's absolutely vital. He's become a leader, and I echo everything Dan has just said there. He has turned into someone that I didn't think he quite had in his armoury, in all honesty. I felt that perhaps there was at times just withheld a little bit of his game, but of late there has been the true Rudiger. The one that we thought we were signing. Mistakes seem to have left his game. He's enjoying the system that he's playing. He understands and gets it. But I think first and foremost, the most important thing I've seen is that him on the pitch has become a character, a leader, and his relationship with the fans, even though it's the only game we've seen when playing in front of the fans, is all too obvious. You're absolutely right. He is becoming that cult hero. And I would say the most consistent performer under Thomas Tuchel and the most improved.
Well, you say that, the stats definitely back it up, because of all the defenders in the Premier League to have played over 1,000 minutes, he's conceded the fewest goals when he's done that, and second most minutes under Thomas Tuchel as well. Abby, defensively, Dan's made this point on a number of occasions. I know Jason's made it as well, in terms of picking one-on-one battles and kind of focusing on it. It's almost old school defending. I don't mean that in a kind of negative way, in that he can't play, because we see his ability on the ball when he carries it out, but to have that sort of imposing dominant centre half that never gets beaten is so important to the rest of the team, and sort of setting a benchmark, isn't it? To say, this is what we're in for, and we're going to dig in together.
Yeah, he's an excellent man marker, isn't he? Just nobody can get past him. He's also really dominant in the air as well. He's just been such a force in our back line. He's absolutely incredible. So he's got that obviously to his armoury, but also these sort of trademark runs of him charging forward now, and sometimes having a shot as well. His overall game has improved so much this season, and just absolutely incredible. I remember watching the game with Jason on Tuesday. I know that Mason got man of the match, but I do think it was really, really close actually. Rudiger just once again had a fantastic game, and just what a player this season,
Yeah, it's been sensational, isn't it? Right, we're going to do Hot Topic 3, which is Matchday Live End of Season Awards. Now, I want quick fire answers from everyone, because we've got plenty to get through. So I just want your winners. No description, no throwing little bits and pieces in, just quick fire answers. So, Jace, I'll start with you. Who's your player of the year? Well, we may have lost Jason. Either that or he's thinking very long and hard about this. Abby, who's your player of the year?
Mason Mount.
Dan?
Mason Mount.
Yeah, I think that's a fairly obvious one, to be fair. I think that was always going to be one. Okay, so this is a little bit more tricky, so you can have a little bit of time to elaborate on it. But goal of the season, Dan, I'll start with you.
Oh,
It's difficult to think of, because I was exactly the same. So the one that immediately springs out that everyone's going to be shouting that's watching this at the moment is Olivier Giroud's bicycle kick. That's got to be
that's like proper top tier goal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely one.
I'm gonna go with the Mason Mount one, where he took it on a half turn.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Another Champions League goal.
Champions League semi-final.
Yeah, that was a start. In fact, Abby, are you going to stick with Olivier Giroud? Because I think that's
I think so.
Yeah, very, very worthy one. I think we'll try and get Jason back. Yeah, Jay's back. Jay, we were just talking about player of the season. One word answer. Who's your player of the year, mate? Oh, he's still thinking. I appreciate that from Jason, because he's going to do this, isn't he? He's going to try and give a answer. No worries, mate. No worries. We're just talking player of the season, mate. Who are you going with?
Honestly, if you could hear yourself, you sound like a Dalek. You want a player of the season? It's it's a big tall list of one. It's Mason Mount.
Good work, mate. We kind of all went for that. What's your goal of the season?
Sorry. Oh God, you put me on the spot. Give me some choices. God.
Giroud's overhead kick out. He's gone for Mount's goal on the half.
Oh God, I mean. Yeah, I mean, you know, I did like Timo's goal against Southampton as well, where he let the ball run through his legs, you know, but I mean, Giroud's was a massive goal, but I'm going to go with Giroud's as well. I'll copy Abs.
All right, mate. All right, Jay, I'll start with you then. Unsung hero.
Unsung hero. Ooh. God, what a good question that is. Do you know, maybe, I mean, I'm going to contradict myself because I'm just singing his praises, but Rudiger, you know, I think his involvement under Tuchel as maybe because Mason's been so good and you know, his levels have been so consistent, but I have to say, Rudiger in the second half of the season, Mason over the course of the season, if you'd asked me since Tuchel come in, it would be a straight race between Mace and Rudiger. That's how influential he's been. But it kind of contradicts because we're giving him praise, so therefore he's not unsung. But I just love Rudiger at the moment, maybe because I'm a centre half as well, and I love his commitment. I love that raw energy, the leader that he's turned into. I just love his game right now. So I'm going to go Rudiger.
No, I appreciate that, mate. I appreciate that. Abby, I mean, Jay obviously broke up when we were saying one-word answers, but it's fine. Who's your unsung hero, Abby?
Oh, that's really tough. I'm going to say Jorginho. I think he doesn't get enough credit for how much he controls the tempo of games. That wasn't one word either, sorry.
That's fine. It's condensed. I like that. Dan, what about you, mate?
I'm going Mendy.
Yes.
I think he made huge saves. That I remember him making one against Rashford that I didn't see it, so I'm not sure how he saw it.
Yeah.
And the Benzema one where Benzema's tucked it on the corner, he's going bottom corner. I just think he's got like a sonar thing where he's able to work out where it's going to go beforehand.
All right, mate. Again, we'll go back to one word answers now. Breakthrough player. Dan, you go first.
Oh.
I suppose I'm going to caveat that a little bit. Yeah, I was going to say not breakthrough as in first debut season, but someone that's gone on another level.
Reece James.
Abby?
I would go with Reece James as well. He's definitely taken his game up a level this season.
Jace?
Yeah, I mean, just to be a little different, maybe go Chilwell, you know, because he's had a change of shape and he's had to reinvent himself a little bit because Alonso had that wing-back shirt. So maybe Chilwell, you know, has emerged as a wing-back as opposed to a left-back.
All right, Jace, biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise? Our form under Tuchel. How we've gone from being 8th or 9th, looking rudderless, looking some desperate performances. And I felt for Frank at that time, but we were really honestly going nowhere. The biggest surprise is how Tuchel has got us from where we were to where we are, potentially where we could be.
Like Abby, biggest surprise? It could be a moment, could be a player, could be a type. What, bit like Jason's answer, whatever you think, whatever comes to mind when I say what's been the biggest surprise of Chelsea this year.
It has been a funny old season. I think I'd have to go with what Jay said. The fact that where we were at and where we're at now, I don't think any of us could have seen that coming. Even though obviously we're always rooting for our team, you know, just where we're hopefully finishing the season is a pretty incredible place. So yeah, that's my surprise, I think.
Dan?
Making it to a Champions League final, I think, is a huge surprise. Not a surprise because we half expect it and we half expect to beat everyone. But it's I feel like with regards to the Champions League, we're well ahead of the curve.
Do you know this is going to be a really interesting one actually because I want to know your performance of the season, Dan.
Kanté versus Real Madrid.
Oh, see, I love that. Yeah, I love that. You can individual or team, Abby. That's a superb answer. But because there's going to be, I imagine, a number of N'Golo Kanté performances we could use. So individual or team performance of the season.
Oh my goodness me. I think I have to go for one of the Champions League games just because I feel like we've really turned up. I guess Yeah, I guess I can't even pick one though. They've all been fantastic.
Porto away was a good one, wasn't it? Porto away
it was. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Jace, what about you? Performance of the season, mate?
Today.
Hey!
Hasn't happened yet.
Love that. I tell you what, I'm not even going to follow that up. Let's move that one on. That's perfect. Our one to watch for today is Christian Pulisic getting the nod in one of the 10 roles, I imagine, or in the front three especially. Jace, Christian Pulisic, we know how good he can be. Yep. Is today the performance that I suppose that he would like in terms of getting a consistent run of games and want to make a statement ahead of the Champions League final?
Yeah, if you remember our lockdown last year, he was not just our best player, but possibly one of the best in the Premier League. He was outstanding. And that hamstring injury in the FA Cup final really did stop that development, I felt. And even going into this season, there's been a lot of change with COVID, of course, as well. Change of manager, change of shape. I think he's really kind of struggled for some... And he's not alone. In that area, I think that's been the one area that we really have struggled to find consistent performers. We've seen flashes from him, flashes from Havertz, flashes from Werner, but not enough really. You know, Ziyech is another one in that forward role. So I think that in games like this, where you are looking that maybe the difference is going to be a piece of brilliance, maybe something out of nothing, you are looking to players like him in particular, where I think this is going to be a very tight game. I think you're looking for something like that, and he is one of those you look at and go, come on, show us what you got under the bonnet.
Abby, Jason mentioned there about his incredible form last year after lockdown resumed and we've got Premier League football back. That obviously all kick-started with a goal and an assist against Villa in the first game. So we know that he's capable of doing it at this very ground against this level of opponent as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope he can have a similar performance today. I do think Aston Villa's defence are sort of like big, strong defenders, and they can actually be harmed by Pulisic's pace. And so hopefully he's absolutely on form today, because when he's on form, he can take on players and he can bring that extra bit of magic that I don't think a lot of players can. So, fingers crossed, a big performance incoming from him today.
Right. Well, this is everyone's favourite time. We're going to do the quiz. So, Jason, I know your internet connection's a bit ropey at Villa Park at the moment, so I'll allow you a little bit more time, but otherwise I'm going to be on you, all right? So just be aware, okay?
Okay, go for it.
So we'll start. We'll do a question each. We'll do a question each, and then we'll keep score, okay? So, Dan, I'll start with you, mate, okay?
Yeah.
This is a tough one, to be fair, to start. Which two teams have we relegated on the final day of the season in the Premier League era? Two teams. If you get one, I'll give you the point.
In the Premier League era?
You can have multiple choice on this as well, okay? So no, all right, I'll give you multiple choice, okay? So Bolton and Southampton, West Brom and Crystal Palace, or Bolton and Sheffield United?
Bolton and Sheffield United.
Good work, correct. This is all a final day of the season related quiz as well. So correct, Dan. Good start, mate. Abby, I'll come to you next. Mm-hmm. Who scored a hat trick when we secured the title on the final day of the 2010 season? Was it Nicolas Anelka, Frank Lampard, or Didier Drogba? Cast your mind back.
Oh my God, my memory plays up. Gonna go Drogba.
It was Didier Drogba, yeah, good work. That's one with the guitar celebration on the corner flag and Flora Malouda playing the drums as well, I think. Yeah, that was beautiful. That right.
Jace, did he have a row with Frank Lampard about a penalty as well?
He did, you're right. He won
Golden Boot that day. He won Golden Boot that day, yeah.
Right, you're absolutely right. Okay, so this is your one, Jace. Who do we play on the final day of the first Premier League season? Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, or Aston Villa?
Sheffield United.
It was good work, correct? Yes.
Ready for that.
We relegated them.
Okay, Dan, here we go. Who scored our final Premier League goal of last season? Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic, or Olivier Giroud?
Pulisic.
Olivier Giroud. Okay, Abby. Who scored our equaliser in the £1 billion game versus Liverpool on the final day of the 2002-2003 season? Marcel Desailly, Frank Lampard, or Jasper Gronkier?
Lampard.
It was Marcel Desailly. Jace, this is for the win, mate. This is for the win, right?
Bring it on. Wait, the connection's fine. Don't worry about that.
All right, here we go. Who were the last team to beat us on the final day of a Premier League season? Newcastle, Leicester, or Arsenal?
I'm going to go Newcastle.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think
Spot on, mate. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. I think it was 3-0 at St James's Park. Yeah, it was not a nice. So, Jason Cundy, good work, mate. Congrats. I think it's
nothing on me in the kitchen now.
Is that your first quiz win of the season? I think it might be.
Nah, come on. I've won more than one.
I'm not sure about that. Let's have a little look at the team that Thomas Tuchel selected for this afternoon. Then in goal, Eduard Mendy, a back three, captained by Cesar Azpilicueta, we think anyway. Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger. Ben Chilwell one side, Reece James the other, Mateo Kovacic and Jorginho, Mason Mount, Timo Werner and Christian Pulisic are the front three for Chelsea. Very, very finally then, first goal scorer, Dan?
Christian Pulisic.
Abby?
Werner.
And Jace?
Pulisic
as well. Okay. All right. Nice. Well, we are not far away from Oh, of course I'm going Aspi. It's not landed for me yet, but on Play Predictor, Aspi, absolutely 100% every single time, and it will be forevermore as well. We will hand over to our commentary team at Villa Park very, very shortly. But first, time to hear once again from the boss. I do hope Thomas Tuchel and Lee Parker arrange some sort of meet-up over the summer for a coffee and a little bit of a chat, because I'll miss these. Here is the boss and Lee one-on-one.
So, Thomas, it's come down to the final weekend of the season. How are you feeling going into this last game?
First of all, we feel very good because of our result and the performance that we showed on Tuesday in a crucial match. That gives us a lot of genuine confidence, of trust in ourselves, and this is what it is about. We have so much to play for, so much to fight for, but it's the most important that we trust ourselves and we trust our skills and we trust our bond. And this is where we are at the moment. We are well aware of the situation and we will give everything to bring it to a positive end.
Just on that situation that you mentioned, Thomas, how difficult will it be to just focus on what you need to do and ignore what Liverpool and Leicester are doing?
Super important. I think that everybody more or less expects a home win from Leicester and a home win from Liverpool outside and even here. I will not get involved into any results during the first half or half time. This can be something for the last, 20 minutes when we need to decide to take more risk or not if anything is decided. But listen, if you rely on other results, it's the worst thing you can do. I mean, we have seen everything in football. We have seen late goals and overtime change things around. So that's why we do good to appreciate what we have, the situation that we worked for. Now there's the situation. We accept the difficulty of the challenge and try to be at our best level possible.
It is so close, isn't it, going into this weekend? Have you been surprised at all, Thomas, at how competitive this Premier League has been?
No, not surprised is the wrong word. Maybe impressed. It is like even experience it in Champions League, and Champions League games are always a little bit different, and then experience it on TV and then having it live in front of you at the sideline is again a difference, even to me. It's quite impressive. So the challenge, the schedule. I mean, it was even harder for us because we reached final in FA Cup, we reached final in Champions League, so we had more and more matches squeezed in between. Never the chance to fully recover, never the chance to breathe. But maybe it was a good thing, and I'm absolutely impressed by the work ethic and the work rate from the players, the approach to training, and we were just talking about what's coming up in pre-season next year. It's huge because you work so much and the players work so much. They absolutely adapt to this. To the demand of this league and of this style of football, and this is what brings out the best in them. This is very, very good.